What's going on, Flicks Talkers? Welcome back to another video. This time my top list of movies to watch during Christmas season or the holiday season. Basically just movies that I like to watch in the month of December. Now some of you guys are wondering why am I dressed up a little bit. I actually went to go take pictures with Santa with my girlfriend today. So, I got a little bit dressed up and I started feeling a little bit in the season. Southern California, unfortunately, we don't get any snow, so we got a lot of rain today, and it is a bit gloomy. So it's not the best, as far as feeling like Christmas time, but that's totally fine, guys. I think I have some movies in my collection that you guys are going to want to check out that'll put you in that holiday spirit. Now, on a quick side note, it really doesn't matter too much, but I do own some of these films, but a lot of them I don't. And mainly the reason for that is because I felt like the rewatch value wasn't like a monthly thing. It was only towards like the end of the year type of watch for me, so I didn't want to go out purchase that for whatever reason, or a lot of them are on streaming sites, so I actually do like to check those out, and one of these in particular is on TV every time of year. Just like they play a block of it on repeat forever, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I'm already talking about. So without further ado, let's jump into my list. So I'll start off with a movie that I do actually own on Blu-ray. It is Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jingle All the Way. Now I'm sure a lot of you guys are not surprised by this one. This is a really fun, quirky comedy that does feature Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. So the basic premise of this movie is very simple, guys. Arnold is a dad who is a workaholic. They kind of show him just kind of scrambling at the beginning of the film, and at the start of this film it does show him kind of interacting with his wife, talking about Christmas time and about gifts, and she says, "You remember to get the Power Man doll or something?" Or I totally forget what the doll's name is, and he goes, yeah, I got that doll. He didn't get the doll. So of course it's gonna break the kid's heart. The kid's a sweetheart. Actually, I believe this kid grew up to be a criminal, so I might want to take that back. Phil Hartman is in this movie as well.
Howard, excuse me, but your wife's cookies are out of this world.
Who told you you can eat my cookies?
Oh, these cookies! I gotta get the recipe from Les.
Put that cookie down, now!
I believe James Belushi's in it for a quick second as well. Music by David Newman. So you have a good kind of overall just mesh of holiday spirit in this movie. I think it takes place in something like Chicago or some kind of big city, and it really does set the tone, when you get those seasons. Every time you come out with a holiday movie where the weather changes and you just get really immersed in this whole thing. And one huge like for myself, why I like to watch this movie all the time, is because they focus on like the Black Friday holiday shopping aspect of everything. It is so nuts, guys, especially here in America. It's so funny because recently I saw a clip in Canada of their Black Friday compared to our Black Friday in America, and it's night and day. It's crazy. We are insane when it comes to shopping. So they do focus a lot on that, and him going after the Turbo Man doll. That's what it was called, the Turbo Man doll. It just popped in my head right here. So this is like the hottest selling doll, and if you didn't get it months, even years before, you kind of are shit out of luck when it comes to, waiting till the last couple of weeks to try to purchase this. So the whole thing is Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, the father, is pretty much versus Sinbad, another father who's looking for the exact same toy amongst a slew of other parents that are just scrambling for this toy. But we get to focus on these two characters throughout the movie and just hijinks pursue. And I really like seeing Arnold in these type of movies like Twins, Kindergarten Cop, just where it's kind of out of his element, because you see Arnold Schwarzenegger as a huge beefcake and you're like, man, he is strictly going to be an action film guy, but you know what? He's extremely funny, especially in this movie, Jingle All the Way. This is the family fun edition. I don't know what that, so it looks like you got an extended director's cut on here. You get a couple of featurettes, the making of, as well. Turbo Man behind the mask. Actually, Blu-ray is the best way to kind of watch these old 90s films. I believe it was 1996. Yeah, so it is a really fun watch, guys. And I'll just jump into my next one after that, which I absolutely love. My girlfriend probably hates that I put this on all the time. It is the Home Alone collection, the original Home Alone, and the only Home Alones in my eye, guys. It is Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Now, the reason why I love these films so much is I believe they're John Hughes movies. Someone's gonna crucify me for that. Yeah, John Hughes. And it just sets the tone as far as, you know, you get a scenario that's definitely unlikely. If you guys don't know the story of Home Alone, that's exactly what it is. You have Kevin McAllister, played by the lovable kid actor Macaulay Culkin. He's very sarcastic. He was a very, very sarcastic kid. You know, we saw him in the spotlight, a lot of kids' movies, and then he kind of just disappeared as he was older, and, you know, we're not going to talk about his older life. Kevin McAllister in this movie just hates his family. He hates that he gets bullied by his cousins all the time. Everybody's over for the holidays, and they're planning a huge trip. I believe in the first movie it's to Miami. Yeah, I believe it's like Miami or Orlando or whatever it is, and they live in, I think, Chicago. A lot of these movies take place in Chicago. John Hughes loves Chicago. So Kevin McAllister, just in a rage, wishes that he never had a family, or just that everybody would disappear, and then guess what? It happens. On Christmas Eve, I believe it is, you know, his family takes off. We're talking about a family of like 15 to 20 people are all in the same house around the same time of year. It's gonna get hectic. So his family races to the airport, doesn't even notice that he's not there. I think actually the mom might have caught a glimpse of a kid that looked like him, so I think she thought he was on board or whatever it is, and then, you know, kind of mid-flight that it's Kevin! Yeah, she forgot Kevin. So that first part of the movie is just kind of him being home alone and him trying to step up as the man of the house, and, you know, as far as doing laundry by himself, just doing groceries by himself, just taking care of adult things around the house that we all kind of do as we're growing up. And while all this is going on with Kevin home alone, you get a subplot of these two thieves, robbers that are really casing out his part of town, and then it almost becomes a kid home invasion movie, which leads to the best PG saw traps I have ever seen in movies, guys. This is a phenomenal movie through and through. The writing, you know, the character development. We get to see Al Pacino as, I believe it's Marv. I believe he's Marv. His buddy is Harry. I forget the actor's name that plays Harry. Daniel Stern plays the taller guy who is, you know, they're complete opposites. You know, one's more on the smart, street witty side. The other one's kind of a dumb, just Three Stooges type of character, but they really play off of each other, and it's one of my favorite films, if not, you know, top films of all time that I like to watch around the holidays. And that does lead into Home Alone 2, which a lot of people, you know, think that it's kind of a downgrade. You know, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. I really don't think so. I mean, you get kind of the same scenario where he does kind of get lost, but this time he's not left home alone. He ends up on the wrong plane, which takes him to New York. I believe this time his family is going to Paris. Once again, you get the whole family, the huge, you know, extended family of like 20 going on another holiday trip, this time once again, of course, around Christmas time. And it seems these parents must have money to blow, because going on these huge tens of thousands of dollars of trips every year, damn. So of course, one of the aspects of this movie that's different from the first movie is it's set in New York. So you get an element of, you know, there's just so much more to get lost into. I actually recently went to New York City about a month ago. There's so much to do and just get lost, you know, with all the, you know, people just walking around. You have, you know, tourists from all over the world. So it's another world that Kevin McAllister himself gets immersed into. And then of course, we get a meetup with the Sticky Bandits, the Wet Bandits. That's kind of like their calling card from the first movie. We do get the same thieves of Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, Harry and Marv. So that's kind of like the not so believable element, is that, you know, these thieves cross paths again with Kevin McAllister like a year later, you know, after he got them busted from the first movie. So I just really, really love these movies, guys. You know, once again, it's John Hughes. I believe in the second film you have totally forget his name. I'm gonna man, I'm kicking myself in the ass for not remembering all these names, but he was from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Tim Curry, that's who it is. Tim Curry, that played the famous Pennywise in the 1990 film, I believe, or early 90s original for It. We all know and love him. He is freaking funny in this movie. He plays someone that's like a hotel clerk or like a manager at a hotel, and he finds out that Kevin is using, you know, his parents' credit card to purchase all these things. So it's a really funny interaction when it comes to them. So Home Alone 1 and 2 are definitely on my tops for this season. Now jumping to a movie that's a little off brand from the PG nature, we have Bad Santa. I believe this is the Badder Santa edition, which is just the unrated director's cut. And this movie is freaking fantastic, especially if you're an adult. It says hilariously nasty, and that's the only way I can describe this film, guys. It does star Billy Bob Thornton. It has Lauren Graham in it, who also plays a side character, kind of a love interest. But if anybody knows Billy Bob Thornton, especially back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, when he was with Angelina Jolie, he was a character that kind of a playboy that really didn't care about what they thought about him. He just kind of did him. He was like the guy that did him before we're all saying, you know, do you type of phrase, you know what I mean? Anyways, Bad Santa in a nutshell follows a mall Santa and his elf companion, and they're basically thieves, and they scout out these malls around the holiday times and just try to figure out, you know, the ins and the outs, the mechanics, the blueprints of these malls, so on Christmas Eve they can rob them. So it's actually a really, really cool story, guys, and it has a good dynamic. Like I said, it's very, very raunchy, guys, so don't go in it watching it with a family. Watch it if you're like 13 plus. I think it'd be appropriate, but there's a lot of sexual things in it. There's also this kid that is so sweet. He kind of follows around the character played by Billy Bob Thornton, who's the mall Santa. He believes he's the real Santa, and it's just so sweet. And he ends up, you know, staying with him because he has no place to stay, and the little kid stays with his grandma, who has like dementia. And there's like so many dark elements of this movie that you just can't help but laugh. Also, you get a amazing performance by Bernie Mac. Unfortunately, he did pass away. Also, John Ritter is in this film, and he did pass away shortly. I think they might do a remembrance to him, because he did die of a heart attack. I believe they both died of a heart attack, unfortunately. Their characters in this film, especially Bernie Mac, puts on a fabulous, amazing performance as someone who runs the mall, and hands down, one of my favorite Bernie Mac performances. So definitely check out Bad Santa if you guys can. You know, doesn't even have to be during the holiday season, guys. It could be any time of year. Bad Santa is the one. All right, guys, next is 1989's Christmas Vacation. That's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, starring Randy Quaid, Chevy Chase. You get a lot of stars that were big in the 80s and 90s, guys. Once again, a John Hughes film. I forgot this was a John Hughes film. He just makes good holiday movies. Pretty much, if you guys are a fan of this National Lampoon series, of course, starting with Vacation, which starred the same cast. It's just a sequel, a continuation, you know, it's the same exact family. Actually, I take that back. I think they did replace some of the kid actors, and this one does have Juliette Lewis. Yeah, this one does have Juliette Lewis as Audrey, and in the first movie, I think it was a different actress. So it's the weird thing where they start, you know, with the sequels, they start replacing the kids, you know, like they do with the TV shows a lot of the times. But anyways, pretty much it's just another look into these families' lives as far as them going on another vacation. This time they're traveling to the folks' home, you know, for Christmas time, and it's just, you know, once again, hijinks are amazing for, you know, Christmas movies. It's just so funny and quirky. And if you guys look them up, the ratings are always low because these movies are not meant to be taken seriously whatsoever. So the whole story, guys, of Christmas Vacation, like I said, in a nutshell, it's just them traveling to their folks' place and, you know, the interaction with the family. It's a dysfunctional family. Once again, you get Randy Quaid's character, who we all know as the brother or brother-in-law, I think it is. And he is just like a redneck to the core. I think they live in like a trailer home, but it's really, really trashy. The kids are trashy. The wife's trashy. It's like they're very, very just a cheap family. They're always asking for money. You know, they don't have any Christmas presents. And it's just like a Christmas gone wrong. Also on a side plot, you know, Chevy Chase's character, who plays the father, who a perfect casting in this. I love Chevy Chase in this movie. You know, he's waiting on a Christmas bonus, so he's kind of like building it up. Shit goes sideways, and the ending of this movie is so damn funny. This movie is a top 10 holiday movie, guys. I really didn't care for the other ones in the series. I know a lot of people love Vegas Vacation. I think that's one that my girlfriend was like first introduced to, Vegas Vacation. But I remember Vegas Vacation, Christmas Vacation, and I think that might be it. I don't think I really, watched like I watched European Vacation, but it really wasn't for me. Vacation and Christmas Vacation are my tops, and you guys need to watch it this December. All right, and my final pick for holiday films that I do watch in the month of December is 2002's Friday After Next. It is the third in the trilogy, guys. The first was Friday, second one was Next Friday, and this one, Friday After Next. So, I mean, they didn't get too creative with the titles. It kind of tells you it is what it is. This one is a Christmas themed one, and it's Christmas in the Hood. And I always love this one because, I mean, growing up, I would always watch Ice Cube movies or just these kind of, considered hood movies, just dealing with inner city, a lot of urban neighborhood type of films. And this was one that kind of got thrown in there. I didn't really know what to expect. It was like almost like around the time of like Scary Movies when all this stuff was coming out. So you get a lot of satire in there, but it was a serious film that it dealt with a lot of problems going on in the inner cities. Not only the whole Christmas aspect of it, but I believe there is like a actual Santa who's once again a thief and he's stealing things. And it's, Ice Cube and Day Day, his cousin, played by Mike Epps' job to kind of find this guy, bust him because they are security guards in this like little mini mall. And I always thought it was really, really funny, especially Mike Epps' performance in this film. I got a glimpse of him in Next Friday, and I was like, this guy is a star. He's definitely going to make it. I loved a lot of his stand-up comedies. He's just naturally funny. It just kind of comes off the tongue. It's just so funny, his interpretations of everything. It seems like a lot of this stuff is just improv, and, we get a lot of that in Friday After Next. So you have that whole aspect. Of course, you get the love interest. You have an amazing performance by Cat Williams, who is a pimp in this movie, who's like a pimp in real life as far as like his mannerisms. You saw him in Boondocks. If you guys have not caught that cartoon, check out the Boondocks, guys. Cat Williams plays a pimp in that one, a pimp named Slickback. So need I say more? This movie is a extremely funny one. I mean, as far as, it as an overall movie, I mean, it's completely ridiculous. I mean, but you get some good writing. It's starring a lot of the original characters like the mother. You get John Witherspoon, the late, great John Witherspoon. We just lost him, I believe, a couple months ago. And I believe they were even talking about doing another Friday, a Final Friday. I think it was called Final Friday with Chris Tucker, one of the original stars of the first Friday. But because I believe John Witherspoon's passed away so recently, I don't think they filmed anything for that. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think this might be, the last Friday in the trilogy. And it's just my favorite, mainly because the writing, the jokes, you get a lot of the stereotypical, humor. And that's what I think I like about hood movies, especially hood comedy movies, is they're not afraid to laugh at the stereotypes. It's something, like I said, I grew up, kind of around, immersed in. And a lot of times it's really funny to laugh at certain material like this. So, this is pretty much the central theme of this movie. It's a Christmas movie. There's a Christmas party at the end. Ice Cube's trying to get the girl. His cousin Day Day is just a jackass and an asshole all the time to everybody. And it's just a really, really fun watch. And I think you guys should check it out this December. All right, guys. So what did you think of my top picks as far as my personal picks to check out this time around the holidays? Let me know in the comments below. Have you guys seen these films? I'm sure you guys have. They're really big mainstream films. But if you guys haven't, let me know if you guys are going to check them out based on my recommendations. And make sure you guys are giving this video a thumbs up if you guys did appreciate it. And make sure you guys hit that subscribe and notification bell to always get alerted about content like this. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, I'm gone. Peace.